related to arterial blood clotting previously. The Supreme Court hears a case today on whether a Texas woman can sue the Postal Service for allegedly refusing to deliver her mail due to racial bias. The Justice Department claims immunity, but an appeals court disagrees. And the Senate has confirmed Herschel Walker as U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas. The Black former NFL star and Trump ally becomes the first to hold the post in nearly 15 years, following a party line vote. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Want to save a few bucks this season? Then head over to your local Big O Tires for their Save a Buck sales event. You'll save up to $250 on select sets of tires with paid installation through October 19th. The Save a Buck sales event, now at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are back in town tonight for Game 3 of their playoff series with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Dodgers have a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. They can eliminate the Phillies with a win. The Dodgers are 4-0 in the postseason. First pitch tonight at 6 p.m. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders had minor surgery Tuesday to help relieve pain and possible blood clots in his left foot. Deion complained of pain in his foot and left leg during Saturday's game at Texas Christian. It's uncertain if the 58-year-old coach will be at practice today. Colorado is at home Saturday against Iowa State. Deion's son Shador has been elevated to the number 2 quarterback spot on the Cleveland Browns roster. Rookie Dylan Gabriel is the Browns starter after 18-year veteran Joe Flacco was traded Tuesday to Cincinnati. The Browns are at Pittsburgh on Sunday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
It's all love, all love, all love.
I don't eat no meat, no dairy, no sweets, only ripe vegetables, fresh fruit and whole wheat. I'm from the old school, my household smell like soul food.
That's right. Don't let listening be a lost art. Chuck D filling in for the big man, Tavis Smiley on the Tavis Smiley Show. That's right. Radio. That's right. Our show with the rhythm, questions, and rhyme. Asking you the question, what's the color of time? We got Dr. Olajide Williams, professor of neurology and vice dean of community health in the Columbia University Vagelos College of Physicians and Surgeons, also a vice chair of the Department of Neurology and a specialist in the treatment of stroke and cerebrovascular diseases. He's at New York Presbyterian Hospital. I used to always say when I was a kid, 3 or 4 years old, I thought Presbyterian was pedestrian. And my mom's corrected me. Big up to my moms. And yeah, so we got the doc. He's a world-renowned leader in stroke disparities and community-based behavioral intervention research, founder and chair of the Hip Hop Public Health, internationally recognized organization that creates and implements multimedia public health interventions that target and engage young people in the health of their families and communities. And that's where we came together to work and build and do some changes over the last 7, 8 to 10 years. So Doc, he's there, but Doc's in Mumbai. What's up, Doc? Worldwide.
What's up, Chuck? It's been a minute. How you doing, my brother?
Been good, man. Filling in for Tavis Smiley, the best interviewer I've always witnessed, and on both sides, and actually filling in on his seat and reaching out to the guests. You will unbelievably top on that list to reach out to. And here we are. The things that you talked about a decade ago when we first met. Doc took me to Mr. Charles in New York City the first time I ever been there, and it turned me upside down. So whatever you needed me for after that, I was game, introduced by Dougie Fresh and Easy AD of the Cold Crush Brothers. And he is Doc. And we've been talking heavily on a lot of different things. Tell us exactly, Doc.
You know what, Chuck? I remember that wonderful dinner. But, back then, the life expectancy gap between black and white was starting to come down. In 2019, it came down to 4 years. And then we had the COVID pandemic, and it went up to 6 years. So we basically lost 2 years because so many of our brothers and sisters died disproportionately during the COVID pandemic. And now it's hovering around 5.6 years. So we still have a 5.5 years shorter lifespan than the average white American.
So medically speaking, it swole back up like that?
It swelled back up. It's unbelievable what's happening. We're seeing rising rates. I'm particularly worried, Chuck, about the mental health situation with our children, because that's where we see just this exponential, terrifying rise in suicide rates. A lot of people need to know that suicide is becoming a real problem in America, especially among Black youth. If you look, Chuck, a Black youth between the ages of 10 and 19, suicide rates have increased by nearly 60% since 2007, brother.
Really? Wow. I mean, I was watching this thing on YouTube, of course, one of the podcasts, because it seems like everybody got an opinion. Everybody knows more than doctors right now. And one thing this particular person was saying, that he wasn't a doctor, but he said, listen, right about now, there's a drop-off in parties, and they're talking about, oh, yeah, kids or young people don't drink as much as they did before. That's one thing, but what is their social exercise that they're doing? We know, like, what you have to do to be physically fit, but what are they doing to become mentally fit in this disastrous distractions, surrounding them? And I think I'm running out of time, but I'm going to come back to you on that question, Doc. And because it's just not the heart the disease, but the mental and the stress in Black people going on right now. And there's a lot of voices out there talking. We need a doctor to stop that in the name of love. We'll be right back around the corner going forward. Chuck D and Dr. Olajide Williams on the Tavis Smiley Talk Show.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto. at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-297-1563 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-297-1563. That's 800-297-1563. What do you have to lose? Call 800-297-1563. Again, 800-297-1563.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Whose world is this? The world is yours. The world is yours. It's mine. Whose world is this?
It's yours. Nas in the background. Chuck D on the mosaic. Dr. Olajide Williams and Mumbai on the other side. Tavis Smiley Show. Big up props. I'm going to shout out Faraji. Thanks for your GPS. And also Miles on the other side on the turntables, mixing between. And Dr. Williams, and we're talking about just the crisis. Let's talk Black people worldwide, but the United States of America since 2020, the pandemic. You know, earlier today, I watched something. Yesterday I watched something. Deion Sanders had a national announcement. He's going in under the knife. That's something physical, but it's also got to affect the mental as well. We're used to seeing these things on how to go about the physical ailments that beleaguer us, plague us as a Black people. But now this mental thing is popping in. Everybody got a phone, Doc. Everybody got a phone. But what comes through it? Does that lead to it a little bit? I mean, what's your doctor analysis on it?
Well, Chuck, I think you're onto something, because we know that constant exposure to racial violence online. You know, you got police brutality videos, you have racist memes, you have hate speech. You know, all this, it creates this what psychologists call vicarious trauma. You know what I'm saying? Or what we call the racial battle fatigue. And when you add that to the hustle, when you add that to the struggle, the daily life dealing with the socioeconomic struggle, that creates toxic stress. And this toxic stress, it erodes our psychological resilience. And when you compound that with the daily experience of being seen as a threat or less than, you know, that increases our vulnerability, Chuck, to depression and hopelessness.
What makes us different than like 75 years ago, where you know, black folks were being stomped overtly? You know, now it's you know, suicide wasn't the thing. You know, black folks would kind of like look at the white America like, okay, I don't know why you jumping out a window. What makes it different right now?
I think it's a different world, Chuck. I think you have if you look at the effects of social media, the effects of technology, it amplifies everything. It amplifies everything. I actually I have a hypothesis that our brains are being rewired in this new world that we have, this new technological world. If you just think about what social media does, it's like you're getting a hit every time there's a like on your Instagram or on your social media challenge. And so the brain is getting overstimulated. If you imagine every hit that young people are getting on their social media, you think about the dopaminergic, there's a system in the brain called the reward circuit. And it's the same system, Chuck, that cocaine acts through. So when you sniff cocaine or you use a drug, it triggers this dopaminergic surge within the reward circuit that creates this craving. It leads to this addiction, and it makes you seek that hit over and over and over again. The same thing is happening when we see a like on social media. The same thing is happening when in the brains of our young people who are addicted to being online. They're getting these hits in their reward circuits, in their dopaminergic circuit. Someone likes a post, you get a hit, and the dopaminergic surges that constantly take place is happening at a rate that is thousands and thousands times higher than what we've ever seen before. And what's happening is that I'm hypothesizing that this overstimulation of the brain, especially our reward circuits, is gonna start causing a rewiring of the brain. Because imagine, Chuck, we're starting children so young on these devices that we're gonna see a whole new structure to the brain 20, 30, 40 years from now when we start seeing the long-term effects of this. Now, you know, the obviously the benefits and the positive things that we get from these social media experiences, the networking, the resources, the ability to have a community, the ability to challenge systems, the ability to create businesses. And so there are the benefits, but the question is out there is how are these negative effects that we're seeing neurologically, how are they going to stack up against the benefits in the long term?
We're talking to Dr. Olajide Williams, educator and vice dean of community health at Columbia University, talking about the state of health in Black America, but not just America, but the world. I mean, what's the disparity as far as the differences, the United States, and then just I wouldn't even say abroad, but just like Central America, the Caribbean, Canada, and then venturing more out into Africa, where you're at, Mumbai, South America. Do you see the rest of the world of color following the trait of what's happening to Black in America, receiving these mental, bombardments?
Yeah, I mean, I think wherever you have a minoritized group, wherever you have a marginalized group, We have the caste system over here in Mumbai. There are marginalized groups all over the world. I think whenever you have a group that's marginalized, you're gonna have toxic stress. You're gonna have a greater burden of toxic stress, and more suffering. And you're going to you're going to look for often unhealthy ways of coping. And the unhealthy ways of coping is one of the reasons why we see the highest rates of substance abuse. We see the highest rates of unhealthy eating and obesity in among communities that are suffering emotionally and spiritually the most. And so that's what happens when you don't have the resources, the structural resources to cope with the stress that's coming at you. Some individuals have tremendous amount of stress, but they have the environmental, social, and structural resources to help buffer that stress. But if you're already marginalized from mainstream resources, if you're already disenfranchised, the resources you have to buffer all that incoming stress, which, by the way, is higher, becomes harder. And that's why a lot of folks resort to anything that makes them feel better, whether it's a substance abuse, whether it's eating in an unhealthy manner, anything we can grab just to make us feel better.
Well, it used to be music and movies and I guess, things that we can kind of reach out to. There's a song that can kind of untwist us. There's a movie that make us feel better about ourselves with some understanding. That isn't so much the case now either.
And that's what we need to come back to, Chuck. That's what we need to come back to. I was talking to a colleague of mine who's out here in Mumbai with me. His name is Dr. Robert Fullilove, and he was a member of SNCC, the Student Nonviolence Committee, and he interned with Dr. King back in the early '60s. And I was talking to Bob. I said, Bob, what's different? And you guys went through an incredible amount of stress. You guys, they were lynching folks around the corner from where you were. You were getting incredible amount of stress. How did you do it? You know what he said to me? He said, Jide, two things. He said, togetherness. He said, community and togetherness. He goes, that was a big one for us. We were together. We had a strong sense of community. And he goes, the other thing was music. He said, music was powerful. He said, when we went out to march, he said, we would sing songs together. He said, and those songs would give us this inner strength, this inner resilience,
vibration, this
robustness that allowed us to continue to march in the face of all those threats. So there were healthy ways to address the fear and the stress and the pain that they were suffering. And you hit the nail on the head when you started with music. But music and community, those are powerful things. And if you look at even African societies where they have extreme poverty, poverty like you've never seen. Even out here, when I was in the slums of Mumbai yesterday, where the poverty is so extreme, you see community, you see people looking out for each other, you see people coming together, you see everybody, families, just meeting and laughing and talking and sharing that pain and sharing that burden. That is the buffer that I was talking about. And you don't need to have millions of dollars to have that buffer. It's about community, and it's about the things that are free in our lives, like music.
Dr. Olajide Williams right here on the Tavis Smiley Show. Chuck D on the microphone. Real quick, we got on the ground floor together on Hip Hop Public Health. Tell the world about that and how that has contributed on turning around, a lot of people's perspective on the things that hip hop can do. I've been involved. DMC has been involved. A lot of people
Dougie.
like that. Ashanti and Dougie Fresh, my teacher, mentor on the stage. Tell us.
Yeah, well, it's a real honor, Chuck, to have folks like you on our advisory board at Hip Hop Public Health. It's an organization that I co-founded with Dougie, almost 20 years ago now. And I'm going to describe Hip Hop Public Health how you described it, Chuck. You said to me that Hip Hop Public Health uses style, story, and sound to help people live healthier lives. And that's really what we're about. We focus on using the power of music, using hip hop specifically, as a way to empower people to live healthier lives. We have health literacy programs in schools through our ambassador network. We have ambassadors in 42 cities across this country, and we create content using hip hop, videos, media, songs, tackling a whole host of topics from mental health, socio-emotional learning, even brushing an individual's teeth, stroke, nutrition, heart disease. We create content to build health awareness, health literacy about almost any health topic you can think of, and so that we speak the language of the people understand. Doctors like me, when we're explaining health problems to the community, we tend to speak above people's heads. They don't understand what we're saying half the time. And we know that knowledge is power. We know that knowledge saves your life. And so we're taking hip hop and we're using it to deconstruct a whole host of medical problems and conditions, showing people how to take that step towards better health through music. And it's been an honor working with you on this, Chuck. Dougie has been an incredible pioneer.
Yes.
The way he has helped lead the organization. Folks that you mentioned, DMC he's unbelievable. He's been rolled his sleeves up, and he's been working with the organization for years. Also, Ashanti, my sister, she's been absolutely fantastic. And we have so many people that have stepped in and supported the organization over the years. And we all have a common purpose to do whatever we can with whatever talent God has given us to make life better for people who have been completely marginalized and disenfranchised from the resources that would make them healthier.
Dr. Olajide Williams in Mumbai, dropping the true science. Now, speaking on that, got about a minute and a half. I'm going to tell you what I'm tired of. I'm tired of everybody thinking that they could be a doctor by watching YouTube. And there's a lot of voices that came out since the pandemic. Doc, dispel some of that nonsense out there for me.
No, you cannot. Life and death is very, very fragile. One mistake and it's over. And I've seen situations where people have tried to self-medicate. I've seen situations where people have looked up the symptoms that they're experiencing online, on Google, on all these platforms, and it hasn't ended well for them.
And Doc, you actually work on brains. I mean, really.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I'm a neurologist, Chuck. I'm a stroke neurologist. And I've seen situations where people come in half dead when they didn't need to, because they spent too long playing around with Dr. Google and online recommendations, and they're coming in too late. And or they just feel like, we don't have to spend time waiting in the emergency room. Let's try to figure this out ourselves. One thing I implore everybody listening to this is, do not try to figure out a disease yourself.
All right. Thank you, Doc. On that note, let everybody know how to get in touch with you. And I really appreciate you.
Yeah, hhph.org. You can check out our website. You can go to our info, send us a message, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, you name it. We're on all the socials. And thank you, Chuck. This has been a real honor to be on this Travis Smiley show with you tonight.
Appreciate you, Doc. Catch you when you get back. All right. Salute. Chuck D right here, Travis Smiley show with Miles on the other side. What you got, bro? Forward.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Travis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Republican Senator Tom Tillis slammed a White House memo suggesting furloughed federal workers may not get back pay during the shutdown.
You've got these people who, if they're members of the credit union, may be borrowing money to pay their bills.
He called it a bad strategy and a fake crisis, while President Trump says pay decisions will vary by worker. The National Guard may be deployed in Memphis, Tennessee on Friday. Police Chief Saralyn C.J. Davis, the first female and black female chief of the Memphis Police Department, says troops won't patrol neighborhoods, but will support violent crime enforcement through federal partnerships. And former Congresswoman Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, the mother of former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, has died at age 80. She was the first black woman on the House Appropriations Committee and served Detroit in Congress from 1997 to 2011. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Want to save a few bucks this season? Then head over to your local Big O Tires for their Save a Buck sales event. You'll save up to $250 on select sets of tires with paid installation through October 19th. The Save a Buck sales event, now at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are back in town tonight for Game 3 of their playoff series with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Dodgers have a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. They can eliminate the Phillies with a win. The Dodgers are 4-0 in the postseason. First pitch tonight at 6 p.m. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders had minor surgery Tuesday to help relieve pain and possible blood clots in his left foot. Deion complained of pain in his foot and left leg during Saturday's game at Texas Christian. It's uncertain if the 58-year-old coach will be at practice today. Colorado is at home Saturday against Iowa State. Deion's son Shador has been elevated to the number 2 quarterback spot on the Cleveland Browns roster. Rookie Dylan Gabriel is the Browns starter after 18-year veteran Joe Flacco was traded Tuesday to Cincinnati. The Browns are at Pittsburgh on Sunday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mexico Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at kbla1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to kbla1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
That's right, a happy birthday celebration. Robert Cool Bell, Cool in the Gang, 75 today. That's right. Here we are celebrating on the magic of radio, talk radio, Tavis Smiley Show. Black Talk Radio with powerful, great people. And undoubtedly one right here, the author and associate professor of the Department of African American Studies and Department of Chicano Studies, Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson, talks about how Black America can harness both political and cultural power against the attacks on Blackness. Writes and teaches on race and racism, cultural history, spatial politics, political economy. Her first book, Spaces of Conflict, Sounds of Solidarity, Music, Race, and Spatial Entitlement in Los Angeles. That's the University of California Press. History of Civil Rights and Spatial Struggles amongst Black and Brown Freedom Seekers and Cultural Workers in LA. Johnson's current work and also works are coming out, and an edited volume of Futures of Black Radicalism from a couple years ago, co-edited with Alex Lubin, and a single-authored book currently, The Walls Will Fall, Protest at the Intersection of Immigrant Detention and Mass Incarceration. And now, head of the Bloom Center for Poverty, Inequality, and Democracy at University California, Santa Barbara, Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson. Good morning.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. I kind of like looking at the Center for Poverty, Inequality, and Democracy. And the news today is Trump says furloughed workers don't deserve back pay, furloughed. And also the Chicago mayor responds to Trump's insurrection threat. And with all this going on in the news, it's the exact opposite to what the center proves to change the world and change the surroundings. And we'd like to thank you for heading that up with great ideas. And thank you.
Thank you. And, thanks to everybody, you especially, but to everybody who's working on these things despite in opposition to, in resistance to all of the things that are going on right now. I just feel like the most important thing is for us to not let anyone steal our hope and joy.
Well, the first thing that they're doing is they're disrespecting scholarship, true leaders, giving a chance. I talked to Dr. Olajide Williams before you, just like people think they could go online or Google and YouTube and become a doctor in a matter of a couple of weeks. And that disrespect when you look around and people seem to have more of a cataloging of comedians, rappers, actors, entertainers, not to take anything away from that field of work and a field that I've done, my work and my career tenure in. However, it's shifted so much to the other side of nonsense for the masses. We need so many people like yourself to be illuminated and just looked at like, wow, this is good for us, because that's taking care of all the work that seems to be left on the floor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the feeling is mutual. I feel like it's important to talk about these things right now, because one of the things that is under attack is our sense of grace and our sense of curiosity. And so to have all of these things at our disposal, all these tools, all this information that we are constantly inundated with can be great if you use it right. But when you are also and simultaneously being encouraged to stop being critical, to stop critically engaging with ideas, to stop having conversations, to stop honing your skills around debate, but also just curiosity, then we have a problem. And I think this is one of the things that at the Blum Center, we try to engage and apply, like the research and the teaching and the service that we do to support social justice and community facing campaigns, but also culture workers as well, because we do believe that there's all of these possibilities for democratic collaboration, where we understand that community knowledge, that cultural knowledge is as critical to social science research as anything else. And so there's a lot of mutual admiration here and appreciation, because it is getting harder and harder to teach in this moment and to provide data that's not considered to be that isn't dismissed by whether it's this administration or all of the people who buy into that ideology, because now anybody can say anything is fake and they have no curiosity to go and research things for themselves. And so it's important that we nurture this, because curiosity and joy and grace are all things that are really being discouraged right now. We can't let anybody steal that from us, because you can be great with just those things, and you don't have to have a degree to participate meaningfully in a conversation. So I'm really hopeful that the kind of conversations that we can have in this moment can lift up everybody's voices, as long as we understand the context we're in and the importance of keeping each other in community and being in good relationship to one another, to our ancestors, and to people who are coming for the next 7 generations in front of us.
We're talking to Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson, head of the Blum Center for Poverty, Inequality, and Democracy at UC Santa Barbara. It seems to be like, just with that title, this seems to be like a lack of understanding of what poverty is at this moment, inequality at this moment, and democracy. It's almost like the powers that be have kind of like played 3-card monte with those terms or words, and just kind of are confusing the public at large. What do you think?
Yes, to all of that. I mean, I think that what underlies, I don't want to oversimplify, but I also want to say that what underlines all of this cruel policy and approach to our communities is greed. I mean, it's just kind of like, let's just lay it out how it is, what it is. It's greed. It's a desire to profit, to uplift profit over people. And we've always been familiar with this, but I think for some people it's jarring to see it laid out in such cruel detail. I think that the way that the Trump administration in particular, but let's be clear that like Republicans who have been far right Republicans have cast low-income people, poor people, as folks who are drained on society, whose grief and mourning because of the structural inequalities and structural violence that people face, like police brutality and disparate death, given whoever you are and wherever you live, the inability to access food and medical care, all of those things are cast as our fault. And we know that that's not true. We know that if anything, we have done more with less than any group of people ever. And so we refuse definitions that are, I think, much more aggressive these days. The things that you mentioned at the top of our conversation, which was, this immigration and refusing pay to furloughed workers. I mean, this is all an extension of the cruelty of this administration, but also of the capitulation of people who have decided that benign neglect is not harmful. It's a horrible thing what people are allowing to happen. Those people with power are allowing to happen. And all I can say is those of us who are committed to a world without poverty, to a world with justice, to a world with belonging and dignity, are organizing. We are writing. We are teaching. We are showing up for our communities. And so, even though the message and the news is always focused on the people who are taking, there are so many people who are giving every day, and I think it's really important for us to give them their props too.
I'm gonna hold you right on that note too. I'm gonna come right back to you to ask you a very, a pertinent question, and also throw my little spiel on why I don't think that we need hip leaders, scholars, professors, and stuff like that. But I'm going to ask you questions about it as we return right on the Tavis Smiley Show with Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Break out the champagne. Everybody get a glass.
Tavis Smiley is now ranked number 16 nationally and the highest rated talk show hosted by an African American on the 2025 Talkers Heavy 100 list of the most important talk radio hosts in the nation. Last year, Tavis ranked number 33, and the year before, number 45. The Tavis Smiley Show has rapidly expanded its national syndication to now include nearly 50 radio stations across the country and counting. Congratulations, Tavis.
Yay, yay!
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
That's right, Chuck D in the big seat of Tavis. And we smack dab in the middle of Food Around Found Out issues. And we are with Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson, head of the Bloom Center for Poverty, Inequality, Democracy at UC Santa Barbara, UCSB. And before we went into the break, this short break right here, things seem, when they're important, the serious issues seem heavy, deeper, boring nowadays. The whippings of mass distraction are abound. How do we cut through that? How do you cut through that?
Yeah, that's such a good question. The way you cut through that is to stay in community. This whippings of mass distraction that you've talked about for so long are real now more than ever because of the actual chemical reaction that happens when you're constantly scrolling and you get those like small, endorphin or dopamine hits. And so it's actually not just a sort of choice about where we put our attention. It is the fact that we're being used as the object of social media consumerism. And so that kind of rapid culture, it's really hard for us to slow down and to be critical and to find joy in the everyday. And it may seem like when I'm talking about this, that I'm somehow departing from the kind of intellectual work that we do in the university and the academy as a group of Black intellectuals, but actually it's core to what we do. We need to be able to be in community in order to combat all of that. When we're in community, we know who we are, in part because we're mirrors for each other, but also because we're in relationship with each other. We're constantly talking, we're getting feedback, and it's really important to stay in community, to never really move alone, as you said in other places. But that's an incredible guideline because you don't ever want to say we don't need those, as you said, those charismatic leaders. I mean, Ella Baker told us that so long ago. We don't need more charismatic leaders. We need more community people getting together and saying, this is what the people want. And the only way you can do that is to stay in community, whatever that means to you.
Yeah, it's one of those things on how woke went from an expression of Black culture now to a conservative criticism and rant point. So here we are, right? I mean, what do you think, and quickly in this 1 minute, what do you think academia, what has it gained and what has it lost over the last, maybe 10 years or just century speaking?
Well, I think, there's the idea that academia should be a place where you can express yourself, you can learn new ideas, and in many ways that is completely under attack. As we know, we've seen how the administration treats higher education as an enemy rather than as a tool for good use and better society. I think that unfortunately it's lost a lot because of the corporatization of academia, but what it's gained is that we still have students, we still have first generation students, we still have immigrant students, we still have international students who are really raising the bar on the conversation in the United States, which is woefully behind the rest of the world.
Great point. We'll be right back with Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson to ask questions about what's the main goals of the new Bloom Center that she is head of, and we'll be right back on the Tavis Smiley Show. No, I correct myself. We'll be forward with the Tavis Smiley Show. Miles is throwing darts at me as we continue on. Let's go.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
Yeah, Miles on the decks. That's right, Chuck D right here on the Tavis Smiley Show. I'll be plain dumb and stupid if I can't figure out, the initial goal just in the title, the Bloom Center for Poverty, Inequality, and Democracy at UC Santa Barbara. I'll be stupid if I couldn't figure out what I think the goals is just by reading the title of the center, Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson. Well, outside of that, what are some of the initial goals? And also, I guess, the California university system has been hit hard by this administration of 4745. What are some of the challenges that you think the center can also kind of leap over?
Yeah, it's a great question, especially for this moment. Of course, there's been millions and millions of dollars that have been taken away from research across the board, like not just in social sciences, but in humanities and the sciences. It's, again, the capitulation of many of these foundations to the Trump administration, which is really sad because many of them have for years said that they support the kind of research that is inclusive and is about moving the whole of society forward. So I think what's important is that we need to know these things. We need to be clear about what they are, because we can't, duck and bury our heads in the sand about the reality that we're facing. But we also have to remember who we are. And who we are is that most of the history that white men have written about is one in which we've had nothing, and we've done so much. We have overcome so much. We have fought for the freedom of our own people and so many others. We have been instrumental in, not just instrumental, we have been the reason that this country had the foundation that it did. We are across the diaspora an incredibly inspiring and innovative group of people. And so we have all of that. And I think sometimes we forget, and we think that our history and our future is bound up with the people who have privilege, profit over people, but that's not who we are. And so what we have, I think, at the Blum Center, and I think also as Black and Brown folks, is that we have a history of doing everything with nothing. And so this is not new for us. And we also always maintain a sense of community and mutual accountability and mutual aid. So trying to keep those things front and center at the Blum Center, to remember that we believe in cooperative economics. We believe in liberation. We believe that all people deserve to live with dignity and belonging. We believe in environmental justice. We believe in healing justice. We believe in equity. We believe in labor. We believe in women's work. We believe in all of the things that, again, bring dignity and justice to our society. And so in many respects, we could recast this whole moment and say, this is our time. This is our time to model, to lead, and to be the people that we've been waiting for. I mean, We always have been. We always will be. And, you know, some white man's money is not going to make a difference.
Well, we thank you. And yes, the Bloom Center for Poverty, Inequality, and Democracy, now headed up by Dr. Gaye Theresa Johnson, a powerful giant in our times right now. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. You know I do.
All right. I'm filling in for the big man sitting in the seat, you know. So the Tavis Smiley Show. And we'll be forward in the next segment coming up right here, right now. Miles, take it away.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Republican Senator Tom Tillis slammed a White House memo suggesting furloughed federal workers may not get back pay during the shutdown.
You've got these people who, if they're members of the credit union, may be borrowing money to pay their bills.
He called it a bad strategy